Our hero is Tsukuru Sumeragi, a chef who is not devilishly handsome. He is in a culinary class where he has prepared 3 types of sandwiches: chicken stew with wine, vegetable pate, potato salad, and boiled vegetables with onion soup. Abruptly, a girl approaches him, calling him a great cook. He turns around to see that it's Ikinos. Ikinos says that because she is clumsy, she is asked not to touch anything in there. But Tsukuru still can't believe Ikinos is talking to him. Their teacher leaves the class, asking the students to be careful with the flame. But Tsukuru senses something is about to happen. Suddenly, a beam of light appears in front of every student. They wonder what it is and find themselves in a different hall room. Tsukuru wonders if they have been reincarnated in another world and looks around him. He sees some old gentlemen approaching them, as one of them, a priest, says they are the representatives of the United Kingdom, and they have summoned the heroes to their world by using their ritual. The students get angry as they are brought against their wishes, but the priest ignores their voices and continues that their destination will be determined through auctions. Their mission is to defeat the demon kings who are terrorizing each country. The knights and kings of different countries are present there and will be doing the bidding and buying the heroes. The auction starts and their names are called along with their rank, and the attendees start to bid for them, starting with 1 million and going up. A person comes near Ikinos and asks her to place her finger on the status plate. When she places her hand on it, her name is announced, and her job title states her as a holy maiden. Everyone started bidding for her, starting with $5 million. Tsukuru places his hand on the plate next, and his name is being announced with his job title stating Cook Rank G. Everyone goes silent for a while. The priest asks if anyone is interested, but the attendees scream to bring the next candidate, as they aren't interested in buying a useless fellow. The knights continue screaming about why anyone would summon such a useless fellow, and the priest moves on to the next candidate. Tsukuru is wondering what he has done wrong to deserve this. The priest tells him that he is free to work anywhere he wants. He gives him a sword and some money to get him moving for a while as compensation, as they can't send him back to his own world. He asks Tsukuru to step inside a teleportation gate, which will take him to any random country, as he doesn't belong to any. He ponders that it's because no other country is willing to take him. He hears Ikinos shouting his name. She, with a heavy heart, asks him if they will ever meet again. Ikinos was chosen by the Kingdom of Luck Sandal. Tsukuru says that if they are lucky, they will bump into each other again. She bids goodbye and wishes for him to say that too. He half-heartedly says her goodbye and steps inside the gate. But the old priest pushes him to get inside the gate and closes it behind him as he finds himself in a forest, which is known as Ball Forest. He curses the old man for tricking him. He finds the status plate and checks out his skills. He sees he has the skills of cooking, igniting, dismantling, detailed analysis, and ingredient storage. He has low scores in magic, stamina, intelligence, agility, and luck. He wonders about his detailed analysis skills and looks up at a tree. He somehow knows that the tree in front of him is thousands of years old and grew up in the Ball Forest, a place where there's no sign of humans. He is stunned to learn he has new skills now, and by looking at something, he can sense if it's edible or not. He makes it his first priority to find himself food and water. He looks around and finds some mushrooms, which he easily identifies as shiramaru. Mushrooms, which are extremely delicious when fried. He says that now that he is in a forest, berries and mushrooms are easy to access. He can put them inside his ingredient storage and can cut them with his sword. He didn't think that everything would be this easy, but worries about running into some monsters. He soon sees a rat running towards him as he holds onto his sword. But he throws the sword away, saying that the old knights knew he wasn't a fighter and still threw him away in a forest. He swears he will remember this and take revenge on the old gentleman who did this to him. He senses something crawling up behind him, and he sees a cat, but the animal comes out of the bushes to reveal himself as a giant cat-like creature. The cat chases him as he runs for his life inside the forest. He remembers that he threw away his sword and searched for some other weapons he could use. He only finds the berries and mushrooms he picked up earlier and throws them at the creature, but he topples on the ground. Tsukuru wonders if this is really how he is going to die, and he still has to take his revenge on those old priests. He is determined that he can't give up so easily without teaching them a lesson and must defeat the creature. He starts to ignite fire to burn the creature down, but that doesn't help. The creature gets angrier and tries to kill him. Tsukuru remembers that he has the ability to dismantle too, and he dismantles the creature, killing it. He slowly starts to lose his consciousness. He faintly remembers something. He sees a cloud of water right above him. He drinks some water and finds the stake in the ribs of the creature, which has healing abilities. He starts licking the meat, and to his surprise, all his injuries are healed. He can't believe he has actually recovered, and now believes he can actually get out of the forest. Tsukuru is happy that he has all the time in the world to taste different kinds of flavors. He also acquired the night vision power by eating the steak of the cat creature. After realizing his new enhanced power, he is happy to grill the meat so that he can enhance his other skills too. He also understands that the more meat he eats from the jungle creature, the more he will acquire their powers. He looks at a giant monkey and wonders if eating him could enhance his throwing capabilities. He grills his meat. Next, he moves on a dark bat, and to acquire his wind magic, he eats its steak too. Slowly, he increases his level, and he next spots some hyenas too. He realizes he can't defeat all the hyenas together, so he uses his new water gun power to drown the hyenas. But to his horror, he sees that a hell bear has appeared there, eating the hyena. The bear looks at him and jumps to attack him. He throws some water at him to distract, and he dodges the attack. He plans to block the bear's attacks by throwing wood at him, but that doesn't affect the bear much. He tries to ignite fire, but before he can do that, the bear grabs him and pierces his claws through his chest. He reflects on how this could be a normal high school kid's life, and his desire to take revenge will be left incomplete if he dies. He pushes himself hard to try to dismantle the bear and successfully kill it. He heals himself by eating the meat, but he makes a promise to be more careful next time. He has cooked enough steaks he got from the bear to enhance his own abilities. But suddenly, another cat-like creature comes in front of him. He swiftly dismantles the creature and says he thinks that though he has enhanced skills now, all of them are helping him with short-distance attacks, and he needs to be sneakier to win in a clever way. He has now unexpectedly received dark magic powers. That last creature he ate had dark magic, and he is excited now that he possesses revenge-taking skills. His skill card gives him a notification that now he is named the pervert for not covering his private parts, angering him. A month passes, and he is bored. He doesn't see any way out of the forest and has gained enough powers, like ghost summoning and magical skills. He doesn't have any clothes on, and he is freezing. He is feeling lonely now and wonders that usually in a novel, the main character faces some slime in Fenrir that will become his opponent. And if he is wandering around in the forest, there has to be some meaning to it. He yells that he wants a fluffy bed or someone to cuddle with, or at least having something to wear would be helpful. He senses someone sneaking behind him. He turns around and notices the Grim Reaper. He says he has seen him around the forest many times, but usually hides from him. But now that he has leveled up, he can confront him. They both engage in a fight as Tsukuru starts throwing wood magic at the Reaper, but the Reaper binds him with his shadowy cloak. He ignites the bind, but the Reaper teleports away. He chases the Reaper, who is burning, and the Reaper turns around to attack Tsukuru. He jumps over Tsukuru, and in a flash of a moment, he uses his dismantling power to kill the Reaper. The Reaper vanishes in thin air, leaving his sword as Tsukuru wears his magical cloak, which will make him invisible to the low-tier monsters. He moves forward to grab the sword, but the sword unleashes a strong wave, asking if he is a warrior. The sword turns out to be a sentient being and talks to Tsukuru. He learns from Tsukuru everything that has happened to him so far, and he is surprised to hear that whatever he consumes, he acquires their powers. He says he never thought that after a long time he would end up talking to a sword. The sword asks him again if he is a warrior, and if he has enough ability to wield him, he will give his power to Tsukuru. He asks Tsukuru if he believes in God. Tsukuru shrugs off at first, but says for a month he has relied on God and is now sick of it. Tsukuru says with great disappointment that he never believed in God or saints before arriving in that forest. He did not come there by his own will, but was forcibly called to the other world and then thrown away like garbage. He could not have survived in this new place. He had to risk his life every day to collect food. He thinks maybe his luck was with him, and now he knows that God exists because of whom those wicked people brought him and threw him in another place. And what he has faced has made him a better version of himself, and he will take his revenge by smashing that old man's face. The sword is impressed by his revenge-driven motive and pledges his alliance to him. He asks Tsukuru to hold him and says he has more power than he could have imagined, which is over level 100. No demon king or hero had this much power before, and he must be really lucky to have this much power and to survive in this forest for such a long time. Tsukuru asks the sword if there is any town or village nearby with humans, to which the sword says that right now he is in the middle of the Ball Forest. The sword also says that he thought Tsukuru internationally came there to defeat the Emperor Dragon, king of the forest. As soon as he takes the dragon's name, to Tsukuru's horror, the dragon emerges right behind him. Tsukuru analyzes the dragon, says he hasn't faced any monster like the dragon before, and starts running. The sword gives hope to Tsukuru, saying he could help Tsukuru defeat the monster. But Tsukuru says he hasn't used a sword as the dragon chases after him. The dragon breathes fire on Tsukuru, and he falls down on the ground unconscious. The sword tries to wake him up as the dragon approaches Tsukuru to eat him. The moment the dragon comes closer with its mouth wide open, the sword uses its dark magic to hide Tsukuru in the shadows. The sword gives him meat to recover from his injuries, and he wakes up. Tsukuru again starts to run away, fearing the dragon. The dragon spots him and starts chasing him, stunning both Tsukuru and the sword, as the dragon can see him in the shadows too. The sword says the dragon won't stop chasing until it catches Tsukuru. Tsukuru realizes he can't outrun or get closer to the dragon, so he needs to hide his presence and dismantle the dragon. He tries to do that, but the dragon, with its wings, attacks him instead, making him hit the ground again. Tsukuru wonders how the dragon can see him even after he has magically hidden his appearance, but the sword says it's because his murderous intent was so strong that the dragon could easily spot him. So Tsukuru modifies his plan. He fabricates his murderous intent to love, goes into hiding, and successfully dismantles the dragon, killing it. He finds a gacha game of some kind in front of him after slaying the dragon. He wonders if the game appears whenever he defeats someone in the boss level. The sword asks him to play it and try his luck, as it is much safer than the monsters around. He starts playing it and receives a black ball from the bowl, and suddenly the gacha game vanishes. He receives a new notification on his card saying he has unlocked new skills, which is equivalent to an exchange. But Tsukuru isn't very hopeful about this new skill, considering it might be the unlucky ball he received from the gacha game. But the sword says he could defeat another boss and play the game again to get a much more helpful ball. But until then, he should upgrade his swordsmanship skills. With time, Tsukuru and sword get to know each other, and Tsukuru gets better at his swordsmanship, slaying some more creatures with it. He thanks the sword for making him better. He relaxes, taking off his cloak and bathing himself, as the sword suggests that it's time he got different clothes now. Something made out of hell bear's pelt, hyena's fur, and sheep's wool. He likes the idea and makes one, calling it the isekai suit. He, wearing his new suit, waits for an opponent to try the strength of the suit. As he is looking around from the cliff, suddenly he falls down from the cliff. He wonders what just happened, and the sword makes fun of him, saying how he could fall down doing such a simple thing. He says it isn't his fault, as he has faced many dangerous beasts in the forest. He notices a group of people saying not to break formation. Tsukuru wonders if those are the bandits looting the villagers, but he has to wait for the ones inside the carriage to ask for his help, because he isn't interested in making any friends in this new world. He hears someone yell for help. Her guards wonder who the princess is calling for, and suddenly the bandits ambush them, taking over the carriage. The bandits chuckle that they have finally kidnapped the princess, and that they are going to be rich. Tsukuru stands in front of the incoming carriage and jumps over it heroically. He stands over the carriage and starts slaying the bandits one by one. One of the bandits tries to get inside the carriage to save himself, but Tsukuru asks the princess to close her eyes as he slays that bandit too. The sword asks him how it feels to kill normal human beings for the first time, and Tsukuru answers that it was too easy for him. The guards of the princess ask him who he is, and Tsukuru walks away without answering them. They wonder who he really is, and he has reached the town of Algeria. He is delighted to see some humans, and is happy that, finally, his life as a normal human being will begin now. The lord of the town hears from the guards how a hero came in time to rescue the princess out of nowhere. The lord says he hopes he will meet the hero someday, as Tsukuru is in his town, going through the marketplace. Everyone in the town has ears and tails like a fox. He buys some foods from a stall and says the ingredients in the town look good, but not the weapons. He looks around to see that bread, pasta, and noodles are available, but wonders where he would get rice. One of the shopkeepers listens to him and says the rice is rare in the town, but he might get it in the Settle General Store. A girl welcomes him inside the store as he asks for rice, but she says there is and shows him the way. The sword teases him that if he had fallen for a beast girl, he says he hasn't, but actually he enjoyed speaking to a human for a long time. The sword suggests that if he likes her, he can buy her. Tsukuru is confused, but the sword explains that the necklace around her neck is for slaves. Tsukuru examines one of the rice she displays to him and figures out that it came from Japan. He buys 10 sacks of that rice, which cost him 60k gold. The owner of the shop, Settle, comes and introduces himself to Tsukuru, who has made a bulk purchase. He asks if it is his first time in the city, and Tsukuru says indeed it is. Settle asks if he could put those sacks in his carriage, but he says he doesn't need them delivered anywhere and magically teleports the sacks. Impressed by his new customer, the owner asks him if he would like to buy some more cutlery or ingredients, as they sell everything for food to slaves. Tsukuru utters the word slaves when he hears it, and the owner gets the idea that his new customer is interested in it and takes him to another room, asking him not to be shy. As he passes by, Tsukuru sees other similar girls as the one in the shop. The owner explains that most of the slaves are normal humans, so they are protected by their laws. A curious Tsukuru asks the owner what exactly he wants him to see, and the owner takes him to a room where there are many other girls chained. He explains that these are criminal slaves, so they don't have any laws protecting them, so they could be easily bought to help society. He points out a girl who is sitting in a corner, saying that girl came that day and used to work for a magician in a noble house where a child was killed, and as she was present at the crime scene, she was alleged to have committed the crime. Tsukuru asks if he thinks the girl actually committed the crime, but the owner says he doesn't know. Her father and he were good friends, and he passed away, so she doesn't have anywhere to go, and now she is accused of a crime. Settle requests that Tsukuru buy Kana, but Tsukuru refuses. Settle explains that she will be executed soon for her alleged crime if she stays. Abruptly, a man shouts that he will buy Kana. Settle recognizes the man as Dokkum and tries to indulge him in other slaves, but Dokkum says he would pay a good price for her, as she used to work for a magician. Tsukuru understands that this Dokkum fellow is rude and arrogant and asks Settle to deal with him first, also letting Dokkum know that he interfered between them. Tsukuru says he will buy Kana for 100 million gold. Dokkum, feeling insulted, yells at Settle that he will buy Kana and moves towards Tsukuru. The owner tries to stop him, but he doesn't listen and grabs Tsukuru by his collar and angrily bursts out on him. But Settle pleads not to make a scene and calls for guards. Dokkum leaves angrily, as Settle asks Tsukuru if he is sure he will buy Kana. He says he bought her only because he hated the other person. Settle is thankful to Tsukuru for saving her and says he owes him. Settle, teary-eyed, ponders that he had a feeling that this person would protect Kana and assures his dead friend that she will be all right and have a bright future ahead as Kana leaves with Tsukuru. Tsukuru and Kana live in a town inn. Tsukuru thinks that even if he did a favor to that shop owner, the owner charged him the full price, and now he is completely broke. He had planned to leave the town as soon as he bought all the necessities he needed, but now his plans have changed as he needs some money and also should let Kana rest. He cooks his meal for the night as Kana wakes up. He says she can eat as much as she likes, as he has heard slaves aren't given much food. She grabs a plate, sits on the floor, and starts eating with her hands. A shocked Tsukuru takes the plate from her hands and asks her what she is doing. She answers that slaves eat while sitting on the floor and sleep on the floor too. Tsukuru realizes she still thinks she is a slave and asks her to sit on the table and use spoons to eat. She obeys him, sits on the table, and starts eating using the cutlery. He is amazed by her elegance and her aura. He asks her if she liked the food, as he knows he is a great cook, but she stays silent and finishes her food. He wonders if the meat will heal her physical wounds or if it will affect her mind too. She starts to cry, and he notices and asks her why. She takes the name Dolce. At night, he understands that the food did heal her memories too, as Kana is sobbing in her bed, still taking the name Dolce. Tsukuru wonders why she is so depressed and remembers that all the nobles he has met so far are wicked. But the sword lets him know that 5 intruders are on their way to attack him. In an alley, the intruders are attacked one by one. One of them waits in a corner, hears some noises, and calls for his partners. Suddenly, Tsukuru comes behind him and tackles him, disarming him. Tsukuru grabs him by his collar and asks who sent him after them, thinking it's the nobles and knights. He says that even if he survives a little, he will take his revenge. The intruder confesses he doesn't know anything about that, but was instead asked to kill the red-headed girl with Tsukuru. Tsukuru slaps the intruder away as the sword asks him if he wants to find out who wants her dead. And Tsukuru, remembering both Settle and Dokkum, says he knows where he should start from and plans to get out of the town as soon as he can. He gets back to his hotel, saying they got themselves into a really troublesome situation. The next morning, Kana wakes up from her sleep. He is more conscious of being clean now that he is in the city. He keeps a dress for Kana and wonders if she has taken a bath. He decides to cook for her, but he isn't sure what she would like. Kana remembers how she got there. After her father, who was a great mage, died, she was taken into a noble family. The youngest member of the family is kind to her, whom she addresses as Dolce-sama. She thanks him and starts working for him, doing small household errands. One day, while she was busy planting a flower, she was called by a maid, who said that the noble's son was attacked by some ruffians. She flees after hearing about the incident and finds Dolce lying on the ground bleeding. She searched for the ruffians who attacked him and tried to heal the wounds. But the wounds are so deep that healing magic doesn't work on them. She cries, asking Dolce not to die, and hugs him. Dokkum arrives at the scene, and later she is arrested for killing Dolce. She is falsely accused of killing Dolce, and even some witnesses say they saw her stabbing him, and even found a letter in Dolce's room, allegedly written by Kana to lure him to the spot where he died. She begs for mercy, but there is no evidence of her being innocent. She is thrown into a prison where she is given bad food. Her other cellmates say that she should feel lucky that she isn't beheaded for killing the noble's son, and sometime later some master will buy her and make her his slave, and she will die working for him. She is lost in her thoughts, wondering she wouldn't have faced this injustice if Dolce was alive. She spends her days thinking about this without eating anything, until the day comes when Tsukuru buys her. She sees Tsukuru and thinks that he is her master now, and she has to obey him. When he asked her to eat the food, she wasn't hungry, but she couldn't disobey her master and ate it. After taking a bite, she remembers the last word Dolce said to her, which was not to cry. Presently, Tsukuru is still worried about not having much money to cover their hotel charges and notices Kana sitting on her bed. He asks her if she is hungry, and she nods. She eats 6 pots of what he cooked, making him ask the sword if she is even human. But he says it doesn't matter until the pale look on her face goes away. He asks if the food is good, and she gleefully says yes. The sword teases him again that he is falling for her too, besides that cat girl he met earlier in the shop. But he sees she is dozing off after eating and frighteningly asks her if she has any allergic reactions to any food, or if she was waiting for his order to stop eating at some point. The sword asks him to calm down, as Kana has only fallen asleep again. Tsukuru enjoys making delicious foods for Kana, showing off his cooking skills. She loves his food, saying his cooking skills make him a really good cook. He ponders that he isn't used to getting praised and says to Kana that he is glad she liked it. She stains her clothes with some foods, apologizes, and says she will go to a nearby well to wash them off. Tsukuru says that people would find her weird, but she replies that she is a slave, so it's okay for her. He stealthily uses his cleaning magic to clean her dress and hair too, surprising her. He presents her with a dress, which she accepts and wears to find it completely fitting. She loves the fabric of the brassiere and asks where he got it. He says it might be from Japan. She wonders what that country is and remembers that right before she was imprisoned, she heard about heroes being summoned from another world to defeat the demon kings. But there was one who got rejected by everyone. Before she finishes her thought, he says he has never introduced himself and says his name is Tsukuru Sumeragi, astonishing her as she remembers him as the one rejected by everyone in this world. She realizes that he was abandoned too, like her, which is why he treats her so nicely. She says her name is Kana and requests that he treat her well, and she will gladly follow his orders. He says then he could start with showing him around, for which she readily agrees. She takes him around the town, showing him different kinds of shops she likes. She shows him a shop for weapons and suggests he should buy himself a better sword, but he denies. He asks Kana, who is broke, if she could find him a place to run a business, as he specializes in cooking, to earn some money. She says that without any connections, he cannot open a restaurant in that place, as the sword also says that the place is already filled with plenty of restaurants. Also, he reminds Tsukuru about their incident from earlier that night, and to get out of town, but Tsukuru instead asks Kana which way he can find Settle's shop. She says she knows the way, but asks him how he knows Settle. She clarifies that she doesn't remember anything between her imprisonment that morning, and Tsukuru understands that she doesn't remember being held in Settle's shop. They reach his shop very shortly, and Settle weeps with joy upon seeing Mana in her normal self again and gives her a hug. Settle asks Tsukuru how he could thank him. Tsukuru says he won't need to do it, but instead, he needs a favor. Settle, after hearing about his crisis, says that the city already has a lot of restaurants, and to do business there, he will need the permission of both the government and the Merchants Guild. But he assures him, saying he will see what can be done. Tsukuru uses his rice to make delicacies, called onigiri, that grant its eaters magical, physical, and endurance abilities for some hours. Settle says that no one can find a food that increases the status of someone else and sees this as a business opportunity, saying he can make around 100 golds a day and asks Tsukuru to use his shop. Tsukuru says that they should start immediately, and Settle agrees, but first they need to discuss their shares. The two guards whom Tsukuru saved from the bandits all of a sudden came asking for him. They ask if he is Tsukuru Sumeragi and introduce themselves as Rotten and Lyeth, vassal of Count Abus. They request that Tsukuru come with them. Tsukuru asks if he can bring his slave with him, but Rotten hesitates, saying bringing her might trigger some bad memories. Tsukuru asks Kana if she would like to join him, and she says whatever he wants. They arrive at the palace after following the guards, where they are requested to wait in the lobby. One of the guards comes and behaves rudely with Kana, asking how she could show her face in the palace after killing Dolce. The count asks them to enter his chamber as he introduces himself as Dingaro Abus and his daughter, Altelias. Altelias thanks Tsukuru for saving her from the bandits. Dingaro, unaware that it was Tsukuru who saved her daughter, thanks him and presents him with 10 million gold along with a sword with his family's crest engraved on it. As long as Tsukuru carries the sword, everyone will respect him as a follower of the count. Tsukuru asks why he would give something so valuable to him, to which the count says he needs a favor from him. Kana killed his son, or maybe everyone thinks that way, but he believes she is innocent. Tsukuru, surprised to hear this, asks then why she was blamed for killing his son. Dingaro explains that because she lacked any evidence, he used his power to let her receive an enslavement sentence instead of death, and she was handed over to Settle, her father's friend. The princess, her two guards, and the count himself believes that she is innocent. Tsukuru asks then how he could help him. The count says that he wants Tsukuru to find out who killed his son. Settle comes with happy news from his shop. He discussed this with the Merchant Guild, which is prepared to sell the onigiri from now on. Each onigiri will be sold for 10,000 gold, and later they can charge 20,000 gold. But the news doesn't affect Tsukuru much. He says that he doesn't need the money anymore. Settle asks why such a change in plan, to which Tsukuru shows the sword he received from Dingaro. Tsukuru explains that back in the count's palace, he is requested by the count to find the killer of his son. He will receive an advance of 5 million golds and 10 million golds after he catches the killer. And he will also pardon Kana of any crimes and free her from her enslavement. The princess also offers Kana to join their palace once she is free. The princess says she has been lonely ever since both Dolce and Kana were gone. Tsukuru hesitates to accept the request, calling himself an amateur. But Dingaro says that based on what he has heard from Rotten and Goliath, Tsukuru is capable of fulfilling this task. After saying everything to Settle, he says he has started his investigation, and whoever killed Dolce must be around. Settle is more concerned about Kana's safety, as whoever killed Dolce will try to silence her too. But Tsukuru assures him that Kana will be safe now that they can enter the palace freely. The sword comments that Tsukuru is getting fond of the new people he met, but Tsukuru shrugs him off, saying he just wants to protect Kana from becoming the object of someone's revenge. Tsukuru and Kana go back to the palace, where they are greeted by a maid named Hana, who says the princess ordered her to show them around the palace. Tsukuru says he wants to talk to Goliath and Rotten, but Hana says that Rotten is in the palace so he can meet him. But he is currently talking to his wife, so Tsukuru has to wait. As they enter the palace, they run across Dakum, who rants at Tsukuru and demands to know why he is there, claiming that someone of his class is not fit to be inside the palace. He raises his hand to punch Tsukuru, but it doesn't affect Tsukuru. Instead, Dakum ends up with his bones fractured, yelling about what Tsukuru did as some guards show up. Dakum orders the guards to capture Tsukuru, accusing him of breaking his hand. The guards ask Tsukuru to come with them, but Kana stands in front of Tsukuru, asking the guards to stop. Commander Rotten shows up in the meantime and orders the guards to stand down as Tsukuru is their guest, leaving Dakum shocked. Dakum argues that Tsukuru initiated the fight, and when he just tried to block his punch, he got his first fracture. Rotten says that it couldn't have been possible because if Tsukuru punched, his whole arm would have been blown off. Dakum claims that he isn't a demon, But Rotten describes how he saw Tsukuru fight when the bandits attacked them, and how they ended up in far worse condition than Dokkum. Rotten asks Dokkum to apologize to Tsukuru. Dokkum angrily says he won't apologize to a low-level guy, and against his wishes, he is taken to the infirmary. Kana sits down on the ground, saying that her knees hurt. Hana suggests that she should take Kana to her chamber, where she can rest for a while. Tsukuru agrees, and Rotten apologizes for Dokkum's behavior and pledges he will not let anything like this happen again. Kana says he shouldn't apologize to a slave, but Rotten promises he will return her honor. Tsukuru says he was looking for Rotten as he wants to ask some questions about Dolce's murder. Tsukuru begins questioning Rotten after reading the case reports. He claims that the report isn't even thorough, and doesn't even explain why the Count's son was there by himself. Tsukuru wonders if this world has poor detection skills, or if his own is far beyond average. The sword says it's quite evident someone planned it, and Tsukuru agrees with him, and is sure someone with influence is behind the conspiracy. He wonders who could gain the most by killing the Count's son, and why anyone would frame Kana. He visits Kana's room to see her sitting on the floor. Hana, who is standing with a tray, says that the princess asked her to bring tea for Kana, but Kana isn't eating anything. When Tsukuru tries to console Kana, she screams out, thinking it's Dokkum. Kana is still traumatized by Dokkum's behavior towards her, and she apologizes to Tsukuru. He says he understands, as he heard everything from Rotten. She says if she were strong enough, Dolce wouldn't have died. When she reached Dolce, he was still alive, but she couldn't heal him. If it was Dokkum or any other magician, they could have healed him. Tsukuru asks if she wants to get stronger, and she says she does. He orders her to eat whatever he cooks. She takes a bite of the steak and unlocks wind magic. He realizes that Kana is only able to unlock 2 skills after completing her meal. He asks her to focus on the investigation as well as on upgrading her skills. He also asks her not to tell anyone what he is about to show her, and using his dark magic, he summons a ghost. A skull-headed ghost appears as he calls Tsukuru his master. He asks Tsukuru to name him so that he can follow Tsukuru's commands. Tsukuru names him Baze. Tsukuru realizes the ghost is consuming his magic and asks if he wants Baze to do something for him. Before he can say it, the ghost keeps his hand on Tsukuru's head, says he already knows what he wants, and leaves, saying he will be searching out. Tsukuru feels tired and falls asleep. Later, the princess comes to Tsukuru's room and asks if he is all right, as she feels a dangerous presence in his room. He says it's nothing to worry about and asks if she is okay. She requests that he call her Ali and says she heard from Hana about Kana's conditions and wanted to check on her. She asks Tsukuru and Kana to have some tea and cake in the garden. Tsukuru adores the garden, as Ali tells him that the garden is always rejuvenated by magic, so it always feels like spring. Kana says it's been a long time since she has been in the garden, and Ali asks her to sit down. Ali says she and Dolce used to sit and drink tea there, and Dolce used to be mischievous, once breaking the tree's branch and ending up getting scolded by the housekeeper. Ali, noticing that Tsukuru isn't drinking his cup of tea, asks if he doesn't like black tea. He says he does like black tea and can smell the fresh aroma. He takes a sip and says it is delicious, but also detects poison in it. A normal person wouldn't have survived it, but he did. He detects alkaloid poison in it, and also analyzes Kana and Ali's cups, which are not poisoned. He wonders if it was Ali who tried to poison him, if she asked the maid to do it, or if the maid acted on her own. Ali asks him how much he progressed with the investigation, and he says that so far, he only talked to Rotten and read the report, which wasn't very helpful. She says the report doesn't have any testimony from her dad or Rotten and Goliath because they weren't there that day. She also says that right before Dolce was killed, she heard him talking to someone and was sure it was a man who wore armor. Tsukuru, stunned by this new discovery, asks Ali why he didn't read that in the report. to which Ali says she told the knights. But no one believed her and stated that she couldn't have heard anything behind the thick door. She breaks down crying, saying she wouldn't have mistaken Dolce's voice. Tsukuru wonders if Ali is acting in front of him after noticing the poison didn't work, or if one of the maids tried to poison him, looking at Hana. Later, he summons the ghost again and orders him to investigate Ali's personal maids. Ali reminisces on how she, Dolce, and Kana used to play ball in the garden, and Dolce used to be very fond of Connor rather than Ali. She thinks that Dolce considers Kana, his older sister, more than her, and she hears Kana scream Dolce's name. She runs to Dolce and finds out that he has broken a tree's branch. The keeper comes, asking who broke it, and Dolce blames it on the maid. She snaps out of her thoughts when she hears Hana calling for her. Hana lets the princess know that Kana hasn't had the tea, and Ali requests that she prepare 3 cups of tea. She will bring the cakes Kana loves, and she will go ask Tsukuru and Kana to join her in the garden. Tsukuru makes an effort to record everything he has learned that occurred on the day of the tragedy in a chronological way. Dengaro left the town with Rotten and Goliath and their subordinates, and Kana was cleaning the castle walls. After a stranger let her know about Dolce, she rushed to him, and when she arrived, the killer got away, and Duckham caught her instead. Ali also heard Dolce talking to someone in armor, and the report of that incident is nowhere near the truth. Also, he has been poisoned by one of the maids, and both he and Kana were attacked by some goons. Meanwhile, Kana is chased by cat-like creatures, as she says she hates Tsukuru. 1 hour earlier, he gave her a dress and a staff like a witch, which would enhance her magical abilities. She says she feels weird wearing that dress, but as Tsukuru says to become stronger, she must wear it. He will take her to the ball forest, and the ghost will continue the investigation for some time. She is afraid to hear about the ball forest and wonders if it isn't the most dangerous forest with wild creatures. Tsukuru carries a terrified Kana in his arms as he dashes into the ball forest. Back to the present, Kana cries for help as Tsukuru comes to her rescue, saying that she can't dodge their attacks. He removes her from the creature's way and slices it with his sword from the middle, killing it. He asks if she really wants to become stronger. She claims that she has never even killed a rat, so it is not possible for her to defeat a 200-level monster. He begins to walk after listening to her worries. A monster approaches in front of Tsukuru as Kana shouts at him, warning him, but he keeps walking toward the monster. She gathers up her strength, remembers how Dolce passed in her arms, and launches fireballs in the direction of the creature, killing it. She was in awe of her level-ups. Kana's new talent delights Tsukuru, who also adds that her training is not yet complete. He has made her food, which will heal her if she gets hurt fighting the beasts, and then he disappears from there. She yells again that she hates him. Later, he carries a tired Kana in his arms, thinking he will cook her some recovery foods, and Bae should be back by now too. He also conceals Kana's status card. Goliath, seeing Tsukuru carrying Kana, asks if anything happened to her. He says she is just tired of their training. Goliath says that since the death of Dolce, Kana has been blaming herself, and now he is glad she is training hard. Tsukuru asks what he is doing there, and Goliath replies that he heard a bear is loose on the streets, so he has been patrolling since the day before. But he tries to cheer Tsukuru up, asking him to eat at his favorite rice place. Tsukuru tries to deny his request, but Goliath says that people from the slums are targeting some wanderers around, and he must be careful. Kana wakes up and shouts that she is hungry, and Goliath takes them to his favorite place. Kana and Goliath enjoy their drinks, but Kana seems uninterested. Goliath asks Tsukuru if anything is wrong. Tsukuru says that he is concerned about Goliath being on patrol and drinking. Goliath says he can tolerate his drink, but ends up getting emotional, saying that because he wasn't around when Dolce was killed, Kana instead got blamed. He adds that if he were there by Dolce's side, he wouldn't have let the culprit get away. Tsukuru asks if all the knights leave with Dengaro that day. Goliath replies that the third squad was left behind, guarding Dolce. He still doesn't understand how Dolce could slip away from the guards. Tsukuru thinks that it's now more complicated for him to figure out who was talking to Dolce, as there were many knights who were left behind in the palace. Goliath says he will accompany them back to the palace. Tsukuru enters his room to see Baze waiting for him. Tsukuru asks the ghost if he has found anything. The ghost says to see it with his own eyes, and shows him a virtual space that recreates what the ghost has seen. He sees Dakum's wife's portrait, realizing that the ghost went to Dakum's house. Tsukuru sees a drawer, and inside it, a letter floats above him, from someone named I Refusal. Both Tsukuru and Kana read the letter, which says the writer trusts Dakum to dispose of the fox child, and he would make him the Baron. Kana realizes Dakum's act of being angry at her for not saving Dolce, but instead letting the true culprit get away. Tsukuru tells her to calm down, as this is the most common motive of all. He asks her if she knows anyone called I Refusal, but she says he must belong to the upper class, and she doesn't have any information on him, but could find out from the Abus family. Tsukuru asks Baze that he will need more information, and the ghost obeys him. Tsukuru wonders if Ali is in danger too, but he can't be sure right now if Ali is a target or actually planned it. As long as he doesn't find out anything about I Refusal, he can't trust anyone. He leaves the room, asking Kana not to open the door except for him. He makes himself invisible and moves around the castle. He sees some knights training under Captain Gibbon. He hears two knights discussing among themselves how much Messiah, Kana's father, whose death wasn't an accident, but was secretly removed by Dakum, replaced him while getting promoted. A knight warns them that he could hear them, and if anyone from Dakum's group hears them, they will be reported and dismissed. They also discuss the new onigiri dish, which is amazing. Tsukuru understands that there are more people attached to Dakum and remembers that Dolce used to love playing ball. He sees a kid playing in the lobby and follows him, meeting the princess and an unknown lady. The princess introduces the woman as Rotten's wife, Alicia, and their son, Cloud. Ali says that since the death of Dolce, Cloud and his mother have often come to cheer them up. She also lets him know that Alicia is the niece of her father's friend, Count I Refusal. Ali has sent a maid to call Kana to join them for breakfast as someone knocks at her door. As they are chatting, Tsukuru wonders that the princess is quite close to the knights and their wives. I Refusal must have been planning to take over Dingaro's empire by making Rotten a candidate to inherit the count's title when no one from Dingaro's lineage is alive. Or maybe the plan is to make Cloud marry Ali, making him the future count. Cloud, meanwhile, playfully asks Ali if she will marry him, but Ali says that after 10 years, when he will be old enough, he can ask her father. Dingaro comes and joins them for breakfast, as Hannah comes and says that Kana didn't respond to her knocking. The sword tells Tsukuru that the killer wouldn't take the risk to kill Kana inside the palace. He notices the maid pouring him a drink, and he again notices the same poison in his drink. Dingaro asks Tsukuru about his progress, but he says the investigation is still going on. Alice, embarrassed that they barged in during such a difficult time for them, apologizes, but the count says he is more than glad that they came to lighten them up. Ali, too, agrees with her father. As Tsukuru leaves, Cloud comes following him, asking if he is investigating Dolce's murder. He says he does, and Cloud says he wants to become a knight when he grows up to protect the Abus family, just like his father. Tsukuru notices Cloud being hesitant and asks him if he wants to say anything else. Cloud says that both Dolce and Ali were nice to him, and he thinks Ali could be in danger too. He feels sorry that he is too weak to protect Ali. Tsukuru asks Cloud not to feel sorry, and that he can still protect Ali by sticking by her side, and Cloud agrees.
Tsukuru goes back to his room to see Kana still asleep. Kana wakes up, and they go to see Settle. Tsukuru asks Settle to look after Kana while he is going on an investigation. Settle says not to worry, as he will take care of her. Baze takes Tsukuru to a place where he says the sight might have caused Kana to faint. They see the bones of the people who were the witnesses in the Dolce case. When Tsukuru questions the ghost about his accuracy, Baze replies that he detected the identical scent that he got from the crime area too.
Tsukuru wonders if they were killed somewhere else and were dragged there and eaten by some monsters. But it is certainly clear that the plan was to remove the evidence. The bones won't be much of a help, but Baze says to leave that matter to him. He comes back to the marketplace and sees Kana trying on a new dress that not only fits her, but also makes her look pretty too. She loves it, and Tsukuru bought the dress for her. She carries it packed so she doesn't get the new dress dirty. It's a treasure for her, as this is the first time Tsukuru has bought her something. As they are returning, suddenly they are attacked by a bunch of goons with their swords. As they attack, the new packed dress of Kana gets in the middle and is sliced. Tsukuru asks Kana to stay behind him while he takes down the hired goons. She says she doesn't want to and is angry that they destroyed her new dress. She starts using her magic to attack them, throwing fireballs at them, and using tree magic to tie them up. Tsukuru is impressed by Kana's action. Kana asks why they were targeted, to which Tsukuru says that as they are investigating the case, the culprit wants to get rid of them. Soon, the ghost shows up and gives an envelope to Tsukuru. Tsukuru says that he has the evidence now, and that it's time to return to the palace. Tsukuru is back at the palace with Kana, and says it is time for him to reveal the real culprit behind the murder of Dolce. Dokkum tries to make a fuss with Tsukuru, but Goliath warns him that the Count is watching him. Tsukuru asks him how's his hand, angering Dokkum more. Tsukuru asks Dingaro, Ali, and others inside the room to vow that whatever he is about to show them, they will keep it a secret. Tsukuru asks Goliath and Rotten to stand near the door, and not let anyone go outside or come inside. As soon as Dingaro promises he will keep it a secret, Tsukuru brings Baze in front of everyone, scaring most of them. Ali asks everyone to stand back, as she has felt the presence of that spirit inside the room. Baze thanks her for understanding and introduces himself as Tsukasa's subordinate. Dokkum shouts at Tsukuru for bringing in a ghost inside the room. Baze brings forward the ghost of Dolce. Dingaro and Ali are overwhelmed by his presence and try to hug him but can't. Tsukuru reminds them that it's a ghost, so they can't touch him. Dolce apologizes to his father and sister for leaving them behind. His father, teary-eyed, says it wasn't his fault, and they miss him too. He asks his father to stay strong. Tsukuru interferes and says that he is sad to break the reunion, but he will need to solve the case. Dingaro agrees with Tsukuru and asks him to move forward. Tsukuru asks Dolce's ghost if it was Kana who killed him. Dolce says it's not Kana. Dolce says he was killed by 3 people from the slums. He was leaving to meet Kana outside the palace when he was surrounded by those 3 people. They attacked him and ran away, and Kana tried to save him, but it was too late. Kana tried her best, justifying her innocence. Dolce continues to say that he died shortly after that, and doesn't remember anything. Dingaro asks the whereabouts of those 3 slum people, but Dokkum says not to believe Tsukuru, as he is doing magic and is a fraud. Dingaro silences him, saying he is talking to Tsukuru. Dingaro orders Goliath to go to the slum, but Tsukuru stops him, saying to let him complete first. Tsukuru continues to say that they will not find those 3 guys in the slum anymore. Baze brings forward the ghosts of those 3 people in front of everyone. Kana recognizes one of them who called her to the crime spot, and another was a false witness in the trial. Dingaro gets angry at them and draws his sword at them. But Tsukuru says that it's pointless, as they are already dead. Tsukuru says that even though these 3 killed Dolce, they were asked to do the task by someone else, shocking everyone. He asks on whose orders they killed Dolce, and all 3 of them point their fingers towards Jiben. Everyone is surprised to know that it was Jiben, as Jiben tries to convince him that he doesn't know anything about it. Both Rotten and Goliath surround him as Jiben pleads, and in a moment, He tries to run away outside the room, but Goliath jumps on him, putting him down. Goliath says his attempt to flee just made him a culprit. Gibbon tries to say that he wasn't alone, but was asked to do it. But before he can take the name, Dockham kills him brutally using his spell. Goliath says killing him wasn't necessary, but Dockham says he just wanted to make him stay down, but his aim was wrong. Tsukuru asks Goliath to calm down, as he has made it easy for Gibbon to confess now. Baze now brings forward the ghost of Gibbon, as Gibbon confesses he worked under the orders of Dockham. Dockham offered him a higher position than Rotten and Goliath in exchange for getting Dolce assassinated. Dockham, meanwhile, grabs the maid Hannah and takes her hostage, asking Tsukuru to let him go, or he will blow her head off. Tsukuru says he shouldn't misunderstand that a maid's life will shield him. Ali asks him not to kill Hannah, as she is a kind servant. But Hannah too confesses her own actions. She tried to poison Tsukuru several times under the orders of Dockham. She tries to push Dockham away, as the Count says to Goliath and Rotten to go ahead and kill Dockham. Rotten takes the opportunity and slices Dockham's arm off. Dockham cries in pain and asks Hannah to help him, or she will be punished. But Hannah doesn't listen to him. Dockham still pleads for his innocence and says not to believe whatever Gibbon or the maid said, and they don't have any evidence that he was behind all of this. Dingaro shouts at Dockham to stop his blabbering and notices Tsukuru is pretty calm and is playing with a paper plane. He asks why he is playing at this point.
Tsukuru says the paper has something written on it, and the handwriting is very pretty. The letter says, asking Dockham to get rid of the fox kid, and who will become a baron, written by I refusal.
Dockham is shocked and asks Tsukuru how he got the letter, unintentionally admitting to his crimes. Tsukuru lays out that Fusel asked Dockham to kill both of the Count's children. Dockham gave Gibbon the task of getting rid of Dolce, while he planned the staged bandit robbery to kill the princess, so that someone from Fusel's bloodline could take over the Abus family. They look around to realize that the Fusel family has only one person, his niece Alicia. Looking towards Rotten, Rotten remembers his meeting with Alicia. He met Alicia, asking her if her uncle was forcefully making her marry him. She says he does. He says to Alicia that she has the right to refuse him too, but as a knight, he will keep her happy. But she is so beautiful and intelligent that she deserves better. But she says she doesn't want to refuse him, as she fell for him after seeing his photo. After their first child was born, Alicia was very happy that her son looked exactly like his father and named him Cloud. Cloud, after growing a little, comes to his father, saying that his mother wishes him to marry Ali and succeed the Abus family. Rotten says he doesn't understand why she always says that when she knows it will be Dolce who will succeed the Abus family. Cloud says he wants to be a knight, just like his father, and protect the Abus family. Back in the palace, everyone asks Rotten to explain. Rotten now realizes that Alicia knows something about it and flees from there. He comes out to see his wife, Alicia, playing with his son. He confronts Alicia, asking if she was in this conspiracy all along. She tries to explain herself, but Rotten says she leaves him no choice but to kill her, as it is his duty as a knight of the Anus family. As he draws his sword to kill her, Cloud comes in between, tries to stop him with his playing sword, and ends up getting hurt. He asks his son to move away, or he will need to kill him too. But Cloud doesn't listen to him, and says it's his duty to save his mother too. He apologizes to his son and breaks down crying. He turns around to see that Dingaro has arrived with everyone. He apologizes to him too, as he failed to kill his wife. But he says he will atone for his mistakes, and kills himself instead, leaving Cloud horrified. Like, share, and subscribe to find out in the next video. Hit the bell icon to get notified when I upload part 2. See you soon.